bars got that swing. Glasses clink, hear the ice cubes sing. Liquid lunch, pour it smooth, let it flow. Friends round the table where the good times grow. Raise a glass, let the worry slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for today. There's Troy laughing with his gin and a grin, telling stories about where he's been. Boomer's got whiskey, he's loosening his tie. Jacen dreams under a midday sky. The bartender knows us, he's mixing with flair. Every sip's a moment we're happy to share. Liquid lunch, pour it smooth, let it flow. Friends round the table where the good times grow. Raise a glass, let the worry slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for the day. The clock don't matter, we're lost in the vibe. Jazz in the air, feel the soul come alive. From martinis to bourbon, we're riding the wave. Stealing this hour, it's the freedom we crave. Sun's still shining, but we're in our zone. This bar's our shelter, our temporary home. One more round before the world calls us back. Savor the moment, keep the blues in the rack. We'll laugh, we'll toast till the afternoon fades. Memories made in these liquid escapades. Liquid lunch, pour it smooth, let it flow. Friends round the table where the good times grow. Raise a glass, let the worry slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for today. So here's to the daylight, the drinks and the fun. Our liquid lunch, till the next one comes. With a wink and a smile, we'll be back real soon. Chasing that jazz under the high noon.
Liquid lunch. It is lunchtime once again on the eve of the weekend. I cannot wait. Hope you are all doing well. It is Thankful Thursday. We are going to discuss the things we are thankful for. There is always something to be thankful for. And of course, I like to focus on the small things as well as the big things. And where they fall on that ranking may change on a day-to-day basis. I want to start out by saying hi to all of you for whom I am always thankful for in every single stream. Starting with Big Al of Big Al Presents, who says, Happy Thankful Thursday. Liquid Lunchers, have a great show. Troy, stay warm, everyone. Yes, that is crucial. It has been incredibly chilly here. It is 17 degrees Fahrenheit. That is well below freezing. It is cold, thankfully. I don't have to go out today. We will come back to that in a moment. It is lunchtime, says the tired midnight blogger Curtis Selby. Welcome. There she is, the love of my life, for whom I am always eternally grateful. She came to say hi. She can't stay long. I know she's got a meeting today. But she does say like, share, subscribe, become a member, leave a comment, and gift a membership if you are feeling particularly generous this holiday season. Becoming a member can be done for as little as $2 a month, and membership entitles you to 4 member streams a week, movie night of your choice. You choose the movies. There is a poll up right now for the members. 4 movies I don't know at all. They were suggested by one of the members. as Christmas adjacent films that take place at Christmas but aren't even as Christmassy as Die Hard. So definitely not really Christmas music, but Christmas adjacent. If you are a member, go there and vote. If you are not a member, maybe consider becoming a member. I also have a poll up for my members. I am asking if the date and time for the member stream, the weekly member stream, is good for them. I've seen a couple people who are having work scheduling issues, so at the bare minimum, I'm probably going to be going a little later on Monday nights, moving it to the more customary, I think, 9 p.m. Central. I guess there's not really a need for it to be as early as I had been doing it, and it's probably for the best. Want to accommodate the members because that's who the stream is for. Help us to reach 100 members by the end of the year, or 2,000 subscribers by the end of the year. It's absolutely crucial for me to be able to continue doing what I do here. If you enjoy what we're doing here, please help us grow in any way that you can contribute. I would super appreciate that. I would be even more thankful on this Thursday. I'm in a meeting, so I won't be here for the whole time. Totally understand. But my first thankfulness for today, well, besides ones that I've already mentioned, I suppose. Thankful that Netter is back today working from home. She had to go into the office yesterday, and I missed her. I don't generally think about it on the day-to-day basis, but her not being here was noticed and felt, and I'm glad that she is back working from home today. Also, why we don't have to go out today in the coldness of cold. And CluuStudios, salute to you as well, Clue. Good to see you, my friend. Always wonderful to see you. Someone else I've been thankful for many years now is Mark Melnikoff, who says, Mech Paul! Taking care of some business on the edge of the Romulan neutral zone. Have a great stream. Like, share, subscribe, and become a member, or I will send you to the mines of Repente. That is a place that he doesn't want to be any longer. Not that he really ever wanted to be there. So when he says he wants to send you there, that's like your human neighbor telling you to go to hell, or an Italian saying, Ava for Napoli. And thank you for the 5x5, Big Al, letting me know that I'm coming through loud and clear. Or at least as clear as I get. There are no weekends on Repente. That's absolutely true. Lucky you ever see any sunlight, too. Connie Cleary, the bird woman of YouTube. Fluff Chick Productions, thank you so much for being here, my dear. Thankful the railroad is finally ready for at Netter's Network. Yes, we are hoping to figure out a stream where Mark can share his railroad enthusiasm through Thursday Things. We'll have to figure out the logistics of that, time, place. I would imagine it's not going to go live until after the holiday, but we'll see what happens with that. Wallace Lang, always good to see you, sir. Welcome, welcome. Salute to you as well. Catch Me If You Can is a Christmas movie. I will. I have not. Have I seen that movie? Is that the one with Leonardo DiCaprio? I don't think I've seen that movie. Had no idea that it had anything to do with Christmas. I will have to check that out. Geek Flag, what Nate knows, stops in to say like, share, subscribe, comment, and become a member. And if you are going to give a super chat of $5 or more, why not make that a membership instead and make our family grow? Yes, gifted memberships are always, always encouraged and appreciated. JoesAtmosfere says, what's up? boys and girls. Like and share, yes, please do. And make sure that you are subscribed to Joe's Atmosphere, both here on the YouTubes and the X of Twitter X. Because he is a good person to have in your army. He is a great channel supporter, always sharing out the streams. Jonathan Conroy says, "Hail all, smash the like button, enjoy the show, and stay warm." Yes, stay warm. It is cold out there. Well, for many of us, it is cold out there. Some of you are blessed with warm weather all year round. But thank you so much, Jonathan Conroy. Leonardo DiCaprio and Tom Hanks. Okay. You know what else is another Tom Hanks Christmas movie is Polar Express. I like that one too. I think the reason I like Polar Express so much is because it does kind of remind me of the holiday specials of my youth, the Rankin and Bass and all the other, types of Christmas specials. You don't see a lot of those anymore. If they don't do them as movies these days, you don't see that stuff anymore. If it's in a streaming service or something, it's usually some sort of deconstructive, cultural vandalism, usually. I love Polar Express. Yeah, I love the whole idea of this little bell that only children and true believers can hear. So the adults, when they go to ring it, it doesn't make any noise. I love that. I think that's kind of brilliant. In fact, we have a Polar Express Santa holding a bell. And if I remember correctly, it's an electronic bell. So in other words, it can function very much like the Sword and the Stone at Disney, right? Where you can only hear it if you press the button. And so you can play like it doesn't have a clapper and it doesn't make a noise, but if you believe, you can hear it. Anyway, that's just kind of a neat little thing. Polar Express breaks down Santa's logistics in detail. Yes, it does. It also, because I always wondered about that. You see little glimpses of Santa's toy shop and all this kind of stuff. If you think about, you see it in The Year Without a Santa Claus. Santa Claus is coming to town. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, all those Rankin and Bass. You see little snippets of the workshop and getting ready for it and whatnot. But I always wondered, what the whole process looked like. And as I got older and got into Dungeons and Dragons, in the second edition they put out a magic expansion called Chronomancy. And I always imagined that Santa Claus was a chronomancer. He was able to manipulate time. That's why he was able to get around the world seemingly in one night. For him, he could spend years doing it, but it all happened in one night from our perspective. Anyway, getting into all those kind of details, but also keep in mind that Polar Express is framed very cleverly so that you can as an adult or as a very stoic sort of person interpret it as the whole thing is the boy having a dream about going to the North Pole, which is always cool. Troy, cold, as my daddy would say, it is colder than a baboon's ass sitting on an iceberg. Well, that's a interesting thought. I don't know how a baboon would ever get to an iceberg, but fair. The Santa and Polar Express that you and Netter gifted me means so much. I am so glad that you enjoyed that, Big Al. I really am. I always enjoy watching the Rankin and Bass and Bugs Bunny Christmas specials on TV when I was a child. Bugs Bunny Christmas special. I'm going to have to look into that. It's probably one of those memories I've forgotten, because I didn't miss any as a kid. I've seen them all. But I am not remembering the Bugs Bunny Christmas special. I'll have to look into that one. And I have no doubt that come Christmas Eve, Netter and I will be doing some watch parties playing a lot of those Rankin and Bass. In fact, what might actually be kind of fun would be to do them in the form of like the old pop-up videos. I would have to do a lot of editing in the next 2 weeks to get this done, but little pop-ups to give you little bits of trivia throughout them. Maybe that's too ambitious for this year. Maybe I'll plan that for next year. We'll just do the watch parties this year and then do them in the form of pop-ups next year. Who's faster, Santa or Barry Allen the Flash? I would not be surprised if there wasn't a DC Comics that actually addressed that. I do remember more than one, like DC Comics Presents, which was a team up, Superman and Santa Claus, and other stories where Santa Claus crossed over with the DC characters. Santa is established as being an actual, meta-human or whatever in the DC universe. So there is that. Okay, so we are a quarter of the way into the show. We'll definitely continue to say hi to anyone who pops in throughout the hour, but I did want to get to another thing that I'm very, very thankful for. And again, I said we're going to be thankful for... Oh, here we go. See, I knew I could rely on... Big Al's like my research guy. He's the guy in the chat who's going to... Big Al and Geek Flag with Nate knows. Both of them are quick with the factoids. Bugs Bunny's Looney Tune Christmas Tales is a 1979 animated Christmas television special featuring Bugs Bunny and the Looney Tunes characters in 3 newly created cartoon shorts with seasonal themes. It premiered on CBS on November 27th, 1979. This isn't ringing any bells for me. I am going to have to look into this. Let me copy this into my notes real quick, and by that I just mean do a quick copy and paste of your comments so that I can look them up again later. And I'll bet you that I can find a copy of this online somewhere and refresh my memory. I'll do that as soon as the stream is over. Also, something to be thankful for is the collective wisdom of this chat. You people are wonderful. You people are the best people. So I said we're going to always look for the little things, right, to be thankful for. And I started thinking today that one of the things I'm thankful for, and I'm not going to get political here. But as I watch the news, particularly pop culture news, but even, the more, State of the Union type things, I see things happen kind of as they should, like cause and effect, the way you would expect things to happen in a reasonable world, which you don't always see, right? You become jaded because you start to think, oh yeah, no one is above the law except all these people that are clearly above the law. And we see it all the time in the news, right? And then you see things happen the way they should, and you go, finally, something is happening the way it should. Well, I've been talking a lot about this, particularly in pop culture in terms of the business world, where we have a mentality of simple cause and effect, right? You give the customer what they want, they're happy, they continue to, patronize you, right? They come back. You mess up, you say, I'm sorry. You've built up enough goodwill with the customers that you don't lose the customers. They do come back. I've always said that you could do 1,000,001 things right. You do one wrong thing, it could derail your business depending on how you respond to that. If you respond correctly to a mistake, that actually means as much or more as years and years of not making a mistake. This is just human nature. You have to understand this when you're dealing with business. Is Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special good? I don't know, but I would be open to hearing from anyone else in the chat to let me know about this. So I have not seen it yet. Guardians of the Galaxy and Deadpool were the two things that Netter and I were still kind of clinging to from the Marvel Universe. And the last installments of each we haven't seen yet, because it has been that much not a priority for us, unfortunately. Talk about losing customers, right? I have a suggestion for the next 3 Monday. Die Hard, The Sixth Day, and The Long Kiss Goodnight. I had a couple people mention The Long Kiss Goodnight. We've done Die Hard a lot. The Sixth Day, I don't know. I'll have to look into that. Can you do me a favor, Nate, and drop this as a suggestion, as a comment to the poll that we're doing for this week, to remind me I could think about adding these 3 to the poll for next week. If you could do that for me, I'd greatly appreciate it. I was 19 years old in 1979. Okay, well, you're a little older than I am then. I was 8. I was 8 in 1979. So Bugs Bunny Looney Tunes Christmas was first shown when I was a teenager. Okay, yeah, I was 8 years old. And that doesn't necessarily mean I shouldn't remember it, because let's face it, I was watching all the Rankin and Bass stuff as an 8-year-old. And then every year subsequent. So, Long Kiss Goodnight is a perfect movie. I'm not disputing that. I haven't seen it, so I can't comment. But it's been recommended to me so many times, I will have to see it. So anyway, getting back to the main topic. Your first DVD in 97. Fair enough. So let me recenter myself a little bit. There we go. So I love to see when business is happening the way it should, right? You have a bidding war. You expect that the person offering the most money and the most benefits is going to win. You hope that a company prospers if they provide their customers with their best value, with a product that the customer actually wants and enjoys. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of it. And lately I've been looking at The Long Kiss Goodnight is going to be Birdman and my Christmas Eve film this year. First time for me. So yeah, maybe it's not terribly worth it for me to stream that one. We could all go watch it with Birdman and Big Al on Christmas Eve. We could certainly do that. But anyway, and I had said, I don't remember if it was earlier this week or last week, I was saying I'm kind of getting, although I am interested, I'm getting tired of the coverage of the Warner Brothers Discovery buyout. However, I do want to express a little bit of gratitude to the process by, oh no, it's not a stream, it's just you guys are going to be watching it. Okay, fair enough. My apologies. Okay. But anyway, let's get to the article, and I'll kind of explain where I'm coming from on this. Let me share my screen, the entire screen, without sound. We don't need that. So if Paramount loses the bid for Warner Brothers, first, I'll be crushed, because I would rather see Paramount obtain the rights to first all of Warner Brothers, but especially the properties of the DC characters and all the other franchises that they hold and manage. I believe that Paramount would manage them better than Netflix, who is the next most likely company to let's just say that the company of cuties. I do not want to see in charge of Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman. Okay, just saying. Just saying. So yeah. Oops. Well, Marvin Montanaro, good person. Definitely worth following. But I didn't mean to click on that. As the Paramount Warner Brothers bidding war nears its conclusion, that's something else to be thankful for. I'll be glad when this is in the rear view and we know what's going on with a company. We have as patrons, as fans, we have a stake in this. Bidding war nears its conclusion. A new report suggests the Ellison-led Paramount Skydance bid is nowhere close to surrendering, even if Warner Brothers Discovery ultimately leans towards Netflix. Okay, got me rubbing my hands together. Okay, and it's not just the cold. So in other words, if we don't win, we're still going to keep fighting. It's almost like they're going to declare war. Okay, fine. You went with Netflix? All right. Then it is to be war between us. According to the New York Post, senior executives and sources close to the process say the race for Warner Brothers Discovery's assets has become a full-blown horse race, a toss-up with 50-50 odds between the two entertainment giants. I'm sure that is the narrative that Warner Brothers would like to push, because they want the bidding. They want the bidding happening. They don't want one side so far out in the lead that everyone else is like, whatever, go on. We looked at this earlier this week where we mentioned that Netflix has a very strong interest in a very specific portion of Warner Brothers. Most companies are not interested in the whole company overall. The only one that is Paramount. So do you get more for less? Do you spend more for less? Or spend, less proportionately, but more overall to sell the whole company? That's the balancing act that Warner Brothers is doing right now. And just in case Netflix is selected, Paramount Skydance already has a Hail Mary move. Locked and loaded. Looking forward to hearing about that. Inside the Warner Brothers Discovery boardroom, speculation has intensified that Netflix has quietly become the preferred bidder, according to the Post. The news outlet notes that Netflix CEO Ted Sarandos and Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav are considered personally close, and some members of the board reportedly believe Netflix would be a better steward for the studio's assets. Really? Really? Okay. Wallace says, I think that Doomcock likes the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special, but he was disappointed with the third movie. I thought the Christmas thing was the third movie. Maybe I'm more behind on Guardians of the Galaxy than I thought I was. I'll have to look into that. Welcome, Wookiees Movies and Music. Good to see you. Channel member and host of the show will be going to directly from Liquid Lunch tomorrow and every Friday, at least every Friday that he has a live show, because that's what we do here. I would rather that Paramount would win the acquisition of Warner Brothers over Netflix. I'm going to leave that comment up. I agree with you 100%, Wallace. I absolutely do. I want less of this, right? I want, a boy in a dress in Strawberry Shortcake, The Beast of Berry Bog, rated for children of all ages on Netflix. Yikes. The perception alone that could tilt the auction toward Netflix's majority cash offer, but Paramount Skydance is still pushing its own all-cash proposal for the full company, including HBO, CNN, and cable networks. Look, this is speculation, pure speculation based on nothing. I don't have inside sources at Warner Brothers. This is, again, just me speculating the way business ought to work, right? If Warner Brothers wants to sell, they want to sell the whole thing together. They don't want to sell the good parts and be left with a bunch of crap. And let's face it, HBO, there's some good stuff there. CNN, worthless. It could be turned around, but right now all of cable news is worthless. So, is that what you want to be left holding, Warner Brothers? I'm not so sure that you would. Still, insiders told the Post that the competition remains tight enough to be a horse race, and Skydance isn't planning on walking away calmly. I think that's exactly what Warner Brothers wants. They want to keep it a bidding war. So, should the Warner Brothers Discovery Board pick Netflix, Skydance's David and Larry Ellison aren't prepared to quietly exit. Instead, they're preparing what sources describe as a plan similar to a hostile bid. Oh, interesting. The Ellisons would bypass the board entirely and appeal directly to the shareholders. Imagine that. Again, this was where I started. The way business is supposed to work. Not a bunch of, stuffed shirts who know better than the people that actually own the company. The people that actually own the company are the shareholders. Their pitch, according to the Post, they intend to argue that Netflix's bid is destined to collapse under regulatory scrutiny. I don't know if it's destined to, but it has a high probability. That's true. The article states that the Netflix plan is facing rejection by President Trump's antitrust cops at the DOJ, as well it should. Why do we have antitrust laws if we're not going to enforce them? Why do we have any laws if we're not going to enforce them? There's my political commentary for the day. And if litigated, would likely lose in federal court. By contrast, the Ellisons will insist their offer is the one guaranteed to sail through regulatory approval. I'm not sure it's that smooth sailing, but he's not completely wrong. The idea is sound. Providing shareholders immediate payout on the whole company. One senior executive told the Post, based on my conversations, the Ellisons aren't going away quietly and are making contingency plans if they lose. That alone tells you everything about how aggressively Skydance plans to stay in this Warner Brothers fight. That's a good thing for the fans and the shareholders, I believe. Even beyond the Department of Justice's concern, governments overseas aren't exactly throwing confetti at the idea of Netflix buying Warner Brothers Discovery. A Netflix-Warner Brothers Discovery merger, which would combine the number 1 and number 3 global streaming services, would reportedly face serious opposition from European regulators, according to a government official quoted on the Post. Well, there's a dimension I hadn't considered. That's a massive hurdle for any international deal. Da-da! Meanwhile, Trump-era regulatory officials are less concerned about the antitrust implications of a studio-to-studio combination like the one proposed by Paramount Skydance. That puts Skydance on firmer ground legally, something the Ellisons are using as leverage. Paramount Skydance's current offer is around $25 per share, while Netflix may pitch an offer closer to $30, but Skydance argues shareholders must haircut that number due to the time value of money. Their reasoning is blunt. Netflix's deal could get tied up in legal challenges over 2 years or more. That's a great point. Yeah, you'll get your $30 in 2 years when $30 isn't worth $30 anymore. When it's worth closer to 25, perhaps. That's a good point. While that happens, Warner Brothers Discovery's assets could continue to decline in value. That's another excellent point. I hadn't even considered, we're not even talking about inflation then. We're just talking about the value of the stock going down. The longer Netflix fights regulators, the worse it gets for shareholders waiting on payouts. Skydance is positioning itself as fast, clean option. Even if Netflix wins now, people familiar with the Ellison strategy told the Post they may simply wait for Netflix's deal to collapse, then swoop back in without the bidding war inflating the price. Hardball at its finest. Little risky, but remember, the riskier the road, the greater the profit. That's one of the Ferengi rules of acquisitions. I just don't remember them by number. Comcast is technically still in the running, having submitted a second-round offer, but according to the Post, the company will have to borrow to remain competitive with the $25 per share offer, even if its own bankers reportedly concede Comcast is the dark horse in the fight. Yeah, nobody's expecting that to happen. Throw in Roberts' notoriously strained relationship with President Trump, and the Comcast scenario comes even less likely. No matter who wins the Paramount Warner Brothers bidding war, the fallout will reshape the entire the entertainment landscape. From streaming to theatrical distribution and the future of major studio competition. We talked about that. How Paramount wants to preserve the release to theater and make your money before it goes to streaming model, which could absolutely save the cinematic experience, as opposed to Netflix that absolutely wants to end release of movies in the theater, which would effectively end the cinema as we know it. Netflix wants HBO Max and Warner Brothers' powerhouse library to stay ahead of Disney. It's good to want things. Skydance wants the entire structure of Warner Brothers Discovery to build a formidable, vertically integrated studio machine. Hoorah! Plus, they also could become leaders in the we could have a big three here. We could have Disney, we could have Netflix, and then we could have Paramount, Warner Brothers, whatever, something new. Something new, imagine that. And the clock is ticking. Warner Brothers Discovery could pick a winner any day now. One thing, however, is unmistakably clear. Paramount Skydance is not giving up, and Netflix should not get comfortable. If the board doesn't choose the Ellisons today, the Ellisons plan to make sure shareholders hear from them tomorrow. And with that, I'm going to refill my drink. I'm going to share with you the promos for the weekend and the beginning of next week. And when we come back, I will fill you in on some other things and get to your comments. Be right back. Just under 3 minutes.
You are watching Liquid Lunch, streaming every weekday at noon Central, 1 p.m. Eastern. Let's sip together.
This week on Saturday Night at the Movies, a snobbish Wall Street commodities broker and a wily street hustler find their positions reversed as part of a bet by two callous millionaire brothers who run a brokerage house. Eddie Murphy, Dan Aykroyd, and Jamie Lee Curtis star in the 1983 capitalist Christmas classic Trading Places. Saturday at 9 Central, 10 Eastern on Big Al Presents Films with Friends.
In a world where nearly all the entertainment is remakes, reboots, and rehashes of older properties, maybe it's worth it to get some commentary from people who experienced it all when it was novel and fresh. Catch Boomer and Pacelli on Geeky Geezers every Sunday night at 8 Central, 9 Eastern.
Every Monday night is Members Night at the Movies on Last Call. Members enjoy an exclusive watch party just for them, and you can join too for as little as $1.99 a month. This week, there is a poll posted on the community tab for members to choose between 4 sort of Christmas movies: The Hand, P2, Rabid, and Wild Card. Go now and select your choice. And if you're not a member, please consider it. It really helps support what we do here at Last Call. Thanks.
This week, on Last Call presents The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, Colonel Barclay is found dead, and his wife is arrested for the murder, but Holmes is convinced a missing door key will reveal the true killer. Can Sherlock Holmes find the Crooked Man? We'll find out. Tuesday on Last Call presents The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes at 9 Central, 10 Eastern.
We now return to our liquid lunch.
Rule of acquisition number 62. The riskier the road, the greater the profits. Thank you, my friend. You're always looking out for me. I super appreciate that. CluuStudio says, my girl, referring to Sophia. I'm concerned about Sophia. She may not be staying with me. The agency that provides her is being bought up by another company. And I might have to switch, working to keep Sarah and Larry with me. I think they're going to make the transition just fine, but I might be losing Sophia. May have to raise her pay is what I'm basically getting at. I think that if Skydance Paramount acquires Warner Brothers, that there would be a tremendous potential crossovers, such as a DC Star Trek or Looney Tunes Star Trek. I think a Looney Tunes Star Trek would be brilliant, as long as they keep it non-canon. You make it a cartoon. It's funny. I totally could see that in the vein of the old Looney Tunes shorts, or like Tiny Toons. Remember Tiny Toons? Yeah, that would, or even Animaniacs. You know, I could totally see that. That would be brilliant. I don't even know how they would do DC Star Trek, although I know they've done it. I don't know that they've done it in the comics. I thought they had. How would you do that? A DC Star Trek crossover. I feel like it would have to be, well, it would have to be set in the 23rd, 24th century. When is the Legion of the Superheroes set? Would you have to have it be with the Legion of the Superheroes? As if the Federation was the Federation of, the Legion of the Superheroes. So, the Earth Space Force or whatever it is just Starfleet. I could see that. And then there's superhero storylines going on in the background. I guess that could be an interesting, plausible story. Otherwise, it would have to involve time travel, which would be not great. Yeah, Marvin the Martian as Spock. That would be wild. Star Trek the Animated Series meets Bugs Bunny and Friends. Bingo! There you see. You're thinking. I like you. Actually, what was the one? Brave and the Bold. The Brave and the Bold cartoon series, I think, would integrate even better with the Looney Tunes. Absolutely. Oh, and there could absolutely be some great video game tie-ins too, right? Where you play either as DC characters or Looney Tunes characters in a very child-friendly kind of story, right? And when you have access to the entire length and breadth of the history of the DC universe, I mean, we've gotten into all these grim, dark type stories in the past couple decades, right? But there were some great Silver Age stories that were very child friendly, that would work very, very well in like a cartoony type fashion. And I think that's another thing that's really been missing from DC for a very, very long time, is you do your live action, but you also focus on cartoons. You know, I miss the Super Friends, the Batman. Well, of course, there was the Batman animated series, but that was more in the post-Burton era. I'm talking about, you know, the Filmation Batman animated series. Do people remember that? There was an animated series, Batman and Robin, with Batmite. And the voice actors were Adam West and Burt Ward. A lot of people have forgotten that. I have it on DVD. Off to work. Take care. Curtis Selby, have a great one. I hope you are doing well, staying warm, and enjoying being gainfully employed. I know a lot of you guys have recently been talking about, hey, I got a job. That changes my schedule. I may or may not be around as much. I understand. DC Silver Age Superman meets Captain James T. Kirk. I did not know that. I will, you know what? I'm going to clip that and remember to look that up after the stream as well, just for my own curiosity. I'll bet that's available out there somewhere. Silver Age Superman. So I'm wondering if that was like a DC Comics Presents, or because at the time DC had the license to Star Trek, and they actually had a really good run. It was written by Peter David. It was really, really good. I enjoyed it. They did a great job of telling the story that takes place in between Star Trek II and Star Trek III. But what's interesting is they advanced the story in such a way that they had to revert the story so that the story of Star Trek III could happen. What I mean by that is they had their own story about how they brought back Spock, and continued to have stories with Spock and whatnot. But then, as they were approaching Star Trek III, something happens with his Katra, and his mind starts to... And they have to return to Vulcan in order to fix whatever was going wrong with Faltor Pan. And, makes it plausible if you're following the comic continuity, how that worked. I want to get an omnibus of those comics and kind of reread them. There were some really good characters in there too. There was before Worf, there was a Klingon in Starfleet in the movie era named Konam. Konam, I think was his name. There was a Nancy Bryce. Before there was Chakotay, there was an Ensign Bearclaw, Native American officer. And I loved that. That was hitting me right where my Star Trek fandom was back then, because I think those of you that have been around a while know Netter and I met through a local play-by-mail role-playing club, Star Trek club. We were just starting to get into play-by-email. We were doing an email role-playing game. And honestly, if the club had lasted into the modern day, we could have some really good online role-playing missed opportunities. We were just a little bit ahead of our time in that particular regard. It was better if people could get together that lived close by and whatnot. Plus, we integrated the FASA Starship Simulator, combat and whatnot. But anyway, those DC stories with those DC proprietary, lower deck characters were like, yeah, that's role-playing characters, So really, really kind of enjoyed that. Anyway, so one thing that I didn't have in the promos, because we were still working on the details behind the scenes, tonight on Netters Network, her members special trivia night, members only trivia, starting at 8 Central. If Netter has set the members only, you should be able to see it in your members only tab, which is going to lead into the regular Thursday things, which is a public trivia night. So it's double trivia for the members, but it's Thursday trivia on Netters Network. So definitely go check that out tonight. I have collected the DC Looney Tunes miniseries, Superman and Bugs Bunny comic books. Cool. Yeah, I'm going to, as soon as the stream is over, I'm going to look into that myself. I bet I can find it. Almost certain I could. Kind of surprised I didn't know about this. One thing that I was not a big fan of, or not that I had anything against it, just never got into, was the Marvel run of the Marvel run of the Star Trek license. I do have a number of the Gold Key comics. That was the first comic book line for Star Trek. I'll have to see if there's a reprint of those too, like some sort of an omnibus. Thank you so much, Fletcher Williams. I Suck at Gaming's channel. Smashing likes for the algorithms. Thank you so much, my friend. Yes, let YouTube know that you enjoy my show and that they should continue to suggest it to you. I do find that if you keep coming to streams and hitting the like button and doing all the things, because I know this because I do this on other channels, those channels start getting suggested to me more often. So just a helpful thing for you in your YouTube following. Let's see. Flepper is my new name. Called it. There you go. Flepper. They call him Flepper. He's here in chat now. That's what he's called. Flepper is he. I don't know. But anyway, that is Thursday. Tomorrow, join me for Liquid Lunch tomorrow, where I tell you what I'll be sipping on. I've got an inkling what it's going to be. Again, because it's cold. So I might be sticking to the warm wine theme from last week. I really did enjoy that. Yeah. And we will talk more about holiday celebrating in the days and weeks to come. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas everywhere you go, including here on Last Call. I have both the Gold Key Star Trek comic books as well as the first omnibus book of those same comic books. Oh, so it does exist. I should be able to find it out there. Okay, good enough. And now I'm a dolphin. Perfect. It's a whole new backstory. Yeah, there you go. Run with it or swim with it, however you choose. And then, of course, tomorrow night, Last Call, 9 Central, 10 Eastern, going until the wee hours of the morning. And hopefully we will be saying wee. Boomer and I will be talking about our favorite Christmas music videos. This was actually a challenge. I thought it was a brilliant idea when Boomer came up with it. And then I found it to be a little more challenging than I thought. It's not as simple as just picking your favorite Christmas song and finding a video for it. There was this very specific point in history where a Christmas song needed to be released as a popular song and then receive the video treatment on MTV, VH1, and so forth. And Boomer challenged me to come up with my 3 favorites. I actually had a harder time with this than I thought. As I got 2. There was 2 that I knew I absolutely had to do. That was without question. Then the third, I'm looking, and I'm like, I do the Google search. I'm like, Christmas music videos. And I'm getting a lot of Christmas songs that have official videos. There's a channel, I think it's a licensed channel that owns the rights to these songs that do official videos for songs that otherwise didn't have videos, usually older songs and so forth. And they're, this like, I don't think it's AI, maybe it is AI generated cartoons and stuff with the lyrics. And I'm like, no, that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for actual dedicated videos that were made for the song. And then I saw one that was Elvis Presley and I think it was Martina McBride singing Blue Christmas. And I'm like, Martina McBride and Elvis? That doesn't seem plausible. So I look it up, and it's footage of the Blue Christmas from the comeback tour. And I'm like, Martina McBride would have been like a child at the time. Could she have been there in the audience? I mean, because I know that there were times where Elvis would interact with children. It's entirely possible Martina McBride had been in the audience and sang a song with them. No, it was a CG, composite, a la, what was that movie? Forrest Gump, where he's singing it and then she splices herself in singing. She's done in period appropriate hair and makeup. She actually looks a little bit like Priscilla Presley. It was neat and fun, but I'm like, no. That's not what I'm looking for. That's not what I'm looking for. That's a cheat, That's all, folks. Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much. Joe's Atmosphere says, best Christmas music video. Christmas is a Time to Say I Love You by Billy Squier. I didn't even know that song. So unfortunately, that one won't be on the list, but I will remember to mention it because for $5, I think it deserves at least an honorable mention. And I know this bugs the heck out of Aged Boomer when I do an honorable mention. He goes, "Oh, that's just your way to circumvent the rules to get an extra song in." No. I think if I tell him Joe's Atmosphere paid $5 to mention it, I think he would agree with that kind of reasoning. Anyway, guys, as Wallace says, we really do need to wrap this up so that you guys can get back to whatever it is you've got going to wrap up your Thursday so we can get to the weekend. So, guys, I want to thank you again so much for your support, your encouragement. I couldn't and wouldn't want to do this without all of you. You guys are really the best. So take care of yourselves. Stay healthy, stay warm, drink responsibly. Even if it's not an adult beverage, stay hydrated. You guys all take care, and I'll see you all on the next one. Bye-bye.
Goodbye. Hope to see you again real soon.
Here's to the daylight, the drinks and the fun, our liquid lunch till the next one comes. With a wink and a smile, we'll be back real soon, chasing that jazz under the high noon.